Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to solve exercise of the lesson first year at Harrow. Open your files and start writing. Question number 1. How old was Churchill when he entered the inhospitable region of examinations? Sir Winston Churchill was hardly 12 years of age when he entered the inhospitable regions of examinations, through which for the next 7 years he was destined to journey. These examinations were a great trial to him, because he was always asked those questions in which he was not interested. Question number 2. Which subjects were dearest to Churchill and which ones were fancied by the examiners? History, poetry, and essay writing were dearest to Churchill, and he would have liked to be examined in these subjects. The examiners, on the other hand, were partial to Latin and mathematics, and their will prevailed. Question number 3. In what ways did Mr. Weldon take a broad-minded view of Churchill's Latin paper? Churchill once appeared in entry test to take admission in Harrow. He was unable to answer a single question in the Latin paper. He wrote his name at the top of the page, and after that he couldn't write a single word. But the headmaster, Mr. Weldon, took a broad-minded view of his Latin prose. He showed discernment in judging his general ability. Instead of sticking to his performance, accordingly, he allowed Churchill to get admission in his school, that is Harrow. Question number 4. How were the names printed in the school's list, and at which position did Churchill's name appear? The names of the students were printed in the list in alphabetical order. As Churchill's correct name, being Spencer Churchill, began with S, so he was placed at the lowest position. He gained no more advantage from the alphabet than from the wider sphere of letters. He was in fact only 2 from the bottom of the whole school. 2 candidates after him in the list disappeared almost immediately. As a result, Churchill went into the lowest position. Question number 5. What was Mr. Somervell's system of teaching English? Mr. Somervell was a most delightful man. He was an expert in teaching English. He had a system of his own. He took a fairly long sentence and broke it into its components by means of black, red, blue, and green inks as subject, verb, object, relative clauses, conditional clauses, conjunctive clauses, and disjunctive clauses. Each had its color and bracket. So in this way, essential structure of the ordinary British sentence got into his bones. Question number 6. Churchill says that the examiners asked questions which he could not answer and not those which he could. How would you describe your experience with examiners and examinations? Churchill says that the examiners asked questions which he could not answer and not those which he could. Actually, Churchill had no interest in Latin and mathematics, and he liked English, poetry, history, and essay writing. He wished to be examined in his favorite subjects, but I do not agree with the author. If the examiners ask the questions which every student knows, then there is no point in examining them. All the students will get nearly equal marks. The hardworking and lazy students can be differentiated in this way. Question number 7. Why does Churchill think Mr. Weldon considered him to be worthy to pass into Harrow? The author did nothing in the test, but Mr. Weldon judged his general ability and considered him to be worthy to pass into Harrow. It showed that he was the man who could see beneath the surface of the things and did not depend upon the paper manifestations. Why does the author consider his situation at Harrow as unpretentious? The author considered his situation at Harrow as unpretentious because he was placed at the bottom of the list. He was considered to be a poor student as he was not good at maths and he did not like Latin. He liked English, history, poetry, and essay writing. While the teachers were in favor of Latin, due to this reason, his mental caliber was considered to be at the lowest. Question number 9. Why were Churchill and other students not allowed to learn Latin and Greek? Churchill and some other students were not allowed to learn Latin and Greek because they were considered such dunces who could learn only English. Only sharp and intelligent boys were allowed to learn sublime subjects like Latin and Greek. Question number 10. Why didn't Churchill feel himself at any disadvantage as compared to those who learned Latin and Greek? Churchill did not feel himself at any disadvantage because the students who learned Latin and Greek had to learn English again for their practical life. No doubt, Greek and Latin languages were rich in their literary values but had the advantage only in their academic life. While learning English at Harrow, Churchill got into his bones the essential structure of the ordinary British sentence. English had achieved its own standard in the later years. It became the need of the day, so the students who were clever and intelligent had to come down again to English for their living. Churchill says that he would whip those students hard who do not learn English. Well, what do you think? Churchill learned English after great struggle and effort in the Harrow. He spent almost 3 years in learning basic English structure. He was totally in favor of the boys learning English. It is an international language. People belonging to every sphere of life should be proficient in English language. English is used in the offices, schools, and in courts. It is essential to get command over English for success in life. So Churchill is right in saying that he would whip those students hard who do not learn English. Question number 12. Do you think Churchill is only interested in telling his story or there is something more to it? Churchill's purpose is not only to tell a story, but he wants to convey an important message to us that things are not always same as they appear to be. He tells that he always showed poor performance in examination, but actually he tells us that being poor or dull in studies does not mean that you are a failed person in practical life. Roads to success are many. If one is not genius according to conventional standards, it does not mean that he has no abilities. Everyone has his own talent, and sometimes practical life has a lot to offer to those who are considered to be inferior by the set old social norm. He wanted to motivate dull students to open their mind towards new roads that are according to their aptitude. Here is your homework. Question number 13. Write in your own words, describe your own situation. Girls, do you know what is meant by thesaurus? Thesaurus is a dictionary of synonyms and antonyms. A thesaurus or synonym dictionary is a reference work for finding synonyms and sometimes antonyms of words. So we can say that it is a dictionary that has synonyms and antonyms. What are synonyms? Synonyms are words that have similar meanings. What are antonyms? Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings. How we can use thesaurus? There are two ways to use it. Number one, alphabetical order. Number two, index form. In alphabetical orders, as in the dictionary, the words that begin with A comes in the beginning. After that, words that begin with B, it comes in the same way. All the letters A to Z, all the words comes under these alphabets. It begins from A and ends at Z. In index form, words are classified by meaning, and you would have to look up the word very in the index at the back of the book. The index would guide you to the page or pages where the word very appears. What is connotation? Connotation is what you think of when you hear a word. It is the images, feelings, and thoughts that are linked to the word. Connotation shows the emotional attachment to the word. Connotation is of two types: positive connotation and negative connotation. Look at these two words, slim and skinny. Both represent that the person is thin, but actually slim means has positive connotation and skinny has negative connotation. Confident, positive connotation, conceited, negative. Inexpensive, positive, and cheap, negative connotation. Now open your book, page number 30, and replace the underlined words with its synonyms by taking help from thesaurus. And after that, after writing down the synonyms of the underlined words, compare your answers with the answer key that is given in the next slide. Scarcely, it means its synonym is barely or hardly. Inhospitable, unfriendly, destined, fated, bound. Trial, test. Invariably, constantly. Partial, biased, prevailed, dominated, suggest, plan, sought, wanted, needed, treatment, behavior. What is a noun? You all are well familiar with this word. Noun is the name of anything. It's the name of person, place, thing, quality, emotions. Name of a person, sister, family, friends, workers. Name of a place, a town, country, street, city, New York. Name of a thing, dog, door, car, books, computer, table. Quality, calm, compassion, tolerance. Emotions, happiness, sadness, love, wisdom, freedom, etc. Now open your book, page number 32. Read the paragraph and find out all the nouns in this passage, and after that compare your answers with the key that is given in the next slide. Number 1 is consequence, number 2 decision, number 3 course, number 4 division, number 5 bottom, number 6 names, number 7 boys, number 8 school list, number 9 order, number 10 names Spencer Churchill, number 11 S, number 12 advantage. Here it is a printing mistake, here comes E. Number 13 alphabet, number 14 sphere, number 15 letters, number 16 bottom, number 17 school, number 18 illness, number 19 cause. So in this passage there are total 19 nouns. Hope so you have understood the lesson. In case of any difficulty, feel free to ask in comment sections in Google Classroom. What have you learned from this lesson? That a person who is failure in his school life, it does not mean that he remains failure throughout his life. We have a living example in the form of Sir Winston Spencer Churchill. He was at the lowest position in school, but in his practical life, he was the most successful person. Have a nice day. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Hi, welcome to Mad English TV. In this lesson, I'm going to give you one of my best secrets to good writing. Okay, and my secret is that I use a book called a thesaurus. Actually, I don't use a book. I use a website, thesaurus.com. Okay, so what is a thesaurus? A thesaurus helps us find synonyms and antonyms. Okay? Synonyms are words that are very similar to each other, and antonyms are words that are opposite of each other. Let's look at an example. So if we look up the word walk in a thesaurus, we're going to see these words here: stroll, saunter, trudge, run. Now, each of these words has their own meaning. The word run is different than the word walk, right? They have different meanings, but all these words are related in that they mean moving forward using your feet. Okay, if you run, you're moving forward using your feet. If you trudge, saunter, stroll, or walk, you're always moving forward using your feet. Okay, so they're related, and we would say they're synonyms. Now, why would we use one of these words instead of the word walk? Why would we use these words? Well, we would use them to make our writing more interesting and more advanced. Okay, let's look at an example. Look at this piece of writing. Kimberly walked to school very slowly. She didn't like school. She always got bullied. She always ate lunch by herself. She didn't have any friends. Okay, who do you think wrote this? Well, we don't know. But if you had to guess, who do you think wrote this? An elementary school student, a high school student, or a university student? What do you think? Personally, I think an elementary school student wrote it because it has very short sentences and it has very simple words. Okay, now let's look at another piece of writing. Kimberly trudged to school, wishing she could disappear into the dreamy morning mist. The incessant bullying had left her spirit hiding in a hollow of deafening isolation. Okay, now who do you think wrote this? Well, me. And I'm not an elementary school student. I'm not a high school student. I have a university education. Okay, so if you can improve your writing, you're going to get more respect. You're going to get more respect from your teachers, from your employers, from your customers, from your colleagues. Okay, improving your writing skills is something that's really going to help you in life. Okay, so right now I want to show you how to use a thesaurus. We're going to go over to thesaurus.com and I'm going to show you how it works. Alright, here we are on thesaurus.com. Now, if we want to know the definition of a word, we can jump over here to dictionary.com. But right now we're just looking for synonyms, okay? So we're going to type in the word walk. And here we have our results. Okay, you'll see synonyms for the word walk. Now up here, you'll notice we have 4 different tabs. Okay, these are the 4 different meanings for the word walk. We have 3 nouns and a verb. Now we're just looking for the most common use of the word walk, which happens to be the verb, which means to move along on foot. So we're going to click on that. And here we have all our synonyms, okay, for the word walk. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we see antonyms. Okay, so we have words like stay or stop. Those mean the opposite of the word walk, right? And if we move down a little bit more, we have more words related to the word walk. We have all of these. Now if we go all the way to the bottom, you'll see we have even more pages. Okay, so right now I just wanted to show you some basic things on how to use a thesaurus. Now, some of these words are a lot more common than others. For example, this word here, perambulate, I've never heard that word in my life. Okay, or wend one's way, I've never heard that before. Okay, so some of these words are a lot more important than others. Some of these words over here, they're not very important, but usually the ones on this side are a little bit more important. Now, if you want to find out which words are the most common here, you can go up here and you can search, you can click this box here that'll just highlight the common words, and it will leave out the rest, okay? So that's basically how to use a thesaurus. The most important thing is that you understand these tabs up here, and it can be really helpful to know the parts of speech like nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, because then you can know what you're looking for, right? If you're trying to look for the word walk, which is the verb, and you happen to click on one of these nouns, well, that's just a very different meaning, right? Let's say you click on this one, pathway, and you see road, street, track. You're going to get really confused, right? Because this has nothing to do with moving along on foot. Okay, so if it really helps if you know the parts of speech. And if you know you're looking for a verb, then you can just go up here and you can click on verb. And then it will just give you the verb. And if there's more than one meaning for verb, it would just list them here. But that just helps you narrow down the results a little bit. Okay, so that's basically how you use thesaurus. Okay, here's your homework for today. I want you to look up a word in a thesaurus and try to make a sentence with it. And post your sentence right down there in the comments, and I'll tell you if it's right or wrong. Okay, see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.